Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sprint 241 review. This was a normal 2 week sprint, but we did have a July 4th weekend in the middle, so few people took some time off. Let's get started. I'll start with the overview, Gilbert on the UI, Adam on providers, and Joe on the platform. So like I said, it was a bit of a shorter sprint with some people being out, and we had 36 PRs merged this sprint. And of those, it was pretty healthy split between enhancement and bugs. And over to Gilbert on the UI.
Hey, so we had three bug fixes and then five other PRs merged into the UI. So the first bug fix was a Rail 7 PR merged by Joe, pre-pending action view helpers number helper with our number helper. And then I'll talk about the other two bug fixes on the next slides. So the first one, yeah, sorry. The first one was fixing the custom icon on the service UI order page. So before we were just showing the static manage IQ logo, but now if a user has a custom icon uploaded, it displays that properly. Next page. This one was a simple bug fix. I was able to just rearrange the item order to make more sense for the UI on the service UI page. And then we had, again, the Rail 7 bug that Joe fixed, and then a bunch of other dependency PRs that were merged. That's it for the UI.
All right, thanks, Gilbert. So for Flow this sprint, got a good amount of features in. So we added the support for intrinsic functions. So Jason added a general parser to parse the form of what an intrinsic function call looks like, as well as all the arguments. And I added a call into when if you pass it through a payload template, it'll execute the intrinsic function. So you can use that in your Flow ASL workflows. We now catch any parser errors from the intrinsic function and raise it as an invalid workflow error on load. So if there's a syntax error, you should be able to see it when you load your workflow, not only when it executes. Keenan added change to make sure that the workflow output is in JSON. We were doing a lot of validations against the Amazon simulator for step functions, and one of the things we noticed was the output was supposed to be JSON, so he made that fix. He also made a change to improve state names that are printed in error messages so that you get the full path to the state. So if it was, for example, in a choice or a sub workflow in a map state, it would show you the full path down to the state. So it's more obvious where the error is. Jason finished up by adding almost all the other intrinsic functions from the ASL spec. I think there's still two or three that are left, but we have pretty good coverage of most of them. And finally, we are setting the flow logger to debug if you set a debug environment variable. So if you're running it from the command line and you want to see some more information, you can just set the debug environment variable. Next slide. For embedded Terraform, the team there added an environment variable to indicate whether the deployment is an air-gapped environment or not. This controls how they're pulling Terraform providers or OpenTofu providers, whether they only look in their local set or if they go to pull them from the internet. For Overt and Rev, we had a fix for provisioning. It was not queuing a targeted refresh properly due to a change in the event payload format when we moved to using Kafka for the event catcher transmission. And so it was missing the information about the VM that was supposed to be targeted. And finally, for the upstream RB-VMOMI gem that we maintain, we added vSphere 8.0 Update 3 support. This was released, I think, 2 weeks ago by VMware Broadcom, and now the most recent version of RB-VMOMI has the support for that. And that is it for providers. Over to Joe.
Thanks, Adam. For platform enhancements and improvements, Adam disabled the rsyslog mirroring to journal if journal is already on persistent storage. The bot updated the codified Go dependencies, and Keenan added some comments describing how the foreign key reference for distributed virtual switch goes directly through the EMS and host virtual switch goes through the host EMS. Next slide. For platform bugs, there's only one bug fix this sprint. Gilbert fixed the spec for the dialog tags. And that's it. Next slide.
And that's all for our Sprint 241 review. The next Sprint review 242 will be on July 24th at the usual place and time. And as always, I'd like to thank all the presenters today and all the members of our community. Have a good one. Thank you.